What if I told you that just by eating 3 types of foods, you could be raising your cholesterol? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 culprits and provide you with tips on how to reduce your intake of these 3 foods. Watch until the end to see if your favorite foods made the list. Welcome back, Nourish Ones. If you're new here, hi, my name is Shannon. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and the founder of the Nourish Center. On this YouTube channel, we talk about all things related to food, nutrition, and holistic health. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely subscribe. The last time I uploaded a video, I shared that we grew our community here to over 1,000 subscribers. And guess what? Since then, we doubled it. We have over 3,000 Nourish Ones here, you all. So if you're new, hi, welcome. Comment down below where you're from. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. So if there's anyone from New York, hey, comment down below and say hi. As you all know, I do my best to respond to every positive comment. So don't be shy. Leave a comment down below and say where you're from. As you can see, I'm coming to you all podcast style. I got my mic, I got my iPad with all the research. So feel free to comment down below any questions. I want this to be very interactive. I'm going to respond to every positive comment as best as I can. And overall, I just hope that this video helps you to learn about the impact of different foods on our cholesterol levels. What you are about to learn might just explain why heart disease is the #1 killer in the United States. In this video, I'm going to list the 3 types of foods that have the least impact to the most impact on raising our cholesterol. So be sure to watch this video all the way through so that you can see at the end what type of food ranks at #1. I'm also going to provide you with different examples of foods that fall within each of the 3 categories. And finally, I'm going to share with you some tips and also some recommendations to help you to reduce your intake of these foods if you can't avoid them completely. Coming in at number 3 is dietary cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol works by increasing the bad cholesterol in our body. So there are actually different types of cholesterol. There's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. The good cholesterol is called HDL cholesterol. The way I like to remember this is happy, HDL, happy, good cholesterol. And LDL cholesterol is the bad cholesterol, the low LDL, bad cholesterol. That's just an easy way that I like to remember the difference between the two. So dietary cholesterol raises the LDL cholesterol in our body. And over time, this can increase our cholesterol levels. Many people like to say, this is high in cholesterol, this is low in cholesterol. But what does that mean? We need to have a standard, right? Something that sets the bar for whenever something becomes high or low. So the recommendation by the American Heart Association, by the World Health Organization, is that we should limit our intake of dietary cholesterol to no more than 300 milligrams per day. So your goal is to not go over 300 milligrams of dietary cholesterol for the day. Now, if you have high cholesterol, the limitation takes it a step further. If you have high cholesterol, you should limit your intake to no more than 200 milligrams per day. Give this video a thumbs up if you're following me so far. I went ahead and took things a step further and began to look up the 3 foods that were high or highest in dietary cholesterol. Coming in at number 3 was shrimp. So just 3 ounces of shrimp, a serving of shrimp, which is ideally the size of the palm of our hands. 3 ounces of any protein is about the size of the palm of your hand. 3 ounces of shrimp comes in at 166 milligrams of dietary cholesterol. And remember, we said that the limit is no more than 300 milligrams for the day and no more than 200 milligrams for the day if you have high cholesterol. So if you're eating shrimp that's about the size of the palm of your hand or doubling that portion or tripling that portion, you may be way over that limit, that bar that we have as the standard set by the American Heart Association. Number 2 was egg yolks. This was interesting to me. So one large egg yolk has 184 milligrams of dietary cholesterol. And then coming in at number 1 was liver, organ meat, specifically though liver. One serving of liver, so a 3-ounce serving of liver, has 331 milligrams of dietary cholesterol. So just by having one palm size, 3 to 4 ounce serving of liver for your dinner, you're already surpassing that daily limit of 300. Now we're going to dive into number 2. The second food that has a significant impact on raising our cholesterol levels is saturated fat. If you guessed this, give this video a thumbs up. Saturated fat works by also increasing the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol in our body. As a result, plaque can build up in our arteries, in our veins, and when there is a dis-ease of blood flow in our arteries, this can cause heart dis-ease because there is not a flow, an ease, there's dis-ease, there's not a flow of blood leading to our heart. So this dis-ease, disease of flow, can lead to things like a heart attack or stroke. Now again, when someone says something is high or low in saturated fat, what does that mean? The recommendation is to limit your saturated fat intake to no more than 6% of your total calories for the day. So what does this mean? This means that if you were to meet with a registered dietitian and she says, hey, you need to eat at least 2,000 calories every single day to maintain good health, you should limit your saturated fat intake to no more than 6% of those 2,000 calories. So this would be about 13 grams. So on a 2,000 calorie diet, you want to have no more than 13 grams of saturated fat for the entire day. Now again, I went ahead to find some foods that are high in saturated fat. Coming in at number 3 was a ribeye steak. And I know steak can be delicious. I used to eat steak a lot back in the day, but just a 3-ounce serving, a palm-sized serving of a ribeye steak will give you 6 grams of saturated fat. Now, if you are eating 2 servings of that, that's going to be 12 grams. You're almost going to be at that 13-gram limit if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet. Coming in at number 2 was cheddar cheese. This was very interesting. Cheddar cheese, just 1 ounce of cheddar cheese will give you 6 grams of saturated fat. And then finally, butter. 1 tablespoon of butter will give you 7 grams of saturated fat. So if you're using a tablespoon of butter to make breakfast, that's 7 grams. And then you're using butter again to make your lunch, that's 14 grams. If you're using another tablespoon for dinner, that's 21 grams. You will be way over the amount of saturated fat for the day if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet. Because again, if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, you should have no more than 13 grams of saturated fat for the day. Again, if anything is confusing, comment down below. I'll do my best to answer your questions or direct you to a resource that can answer it for you. Now we're going to talk about the food that has the greatest impact on raising our cholesterol levels. Trans fats work by doing 2 things. They raise the bad cholesterol in your body, the LDL cholesterol, while also lowering the good cholesterol in your body, the HDL cholesterol. So this is why trans fats have the greatest impact on raising our cholesterol levels. Now you might be wondering, wow, this has such a huge impact on my cholesterol. How much trans fats can I have for the day? Well, because of this, the American Heart Association recommends that you limit your trans fats intake to less than 1% of your total calories for the day. So literally little to none at all. You want to limit your intake of trans fats as much as possible. The good thing is in 2020, the FDA placed a ban on trans fats. So food manufacturers were told to not include trans fats in their products. However, there are some exceptions. Every single country in the world does not have a ban on trans fat. This ban that I shared with you was in the US. So if you are consuming imported goods, or if you have a family member that comes from another country where there is not a ban, be sure to just check the nutrition facts label for that food product, or contact the company directly if you are concerned that that product may have trans fat in it. There are some additional countries that also adopted this ban. I think Canada is also one of them. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but just keep this in mind for anything that you're consuming that is from abroad. As it relates to animal feeds, some farmers are swapping out the food that they feed their animals with foods that do not have trans fats in them, but you can always contact farmers to see what they are feeding their animals and to learn more about the animal feed. And then food additives. So some food additives like emulsifiers or stabilizers may have trans fats in them. Now, this is where things get interesting and why I had to set this whole thing up podcast style, because I want to have a conversation with all of you. I want to hear in the comments what you think. In the United States, the FDA requires that the amount of trans fat be limited to no more than 0.5 grams per serving. And if so, that product can be listed as having 0 grams of trans fat on the label, even if it contains some amount of trans fat. So this is where things get so tricky, because since they can include a product that has trans fat in it, so as long as it's not over 0.5 grams, that product could still have trans fat in it. For example, if I were to eat something that has 0.3 grams of trans fat per serving, but maybe I want to have 6 servings in a sitting, maybe I'm having like crackers or something that's high in trans fat, I would be consuming 1.8 grams of trans fat, which is pretty high if the American Heart Association says that we should limit our intake to less than 1% of our total calories. And it's important to note that even a small amount of trans fat can have negative effects on our health. If you are concerned about whether a product has trans fat or saturated fat or dietary cholesterol in it, you can always contact the food company directly. Usually on the nutrition facts label, you can see their telephone number or address listed, or you can even go directly to their website and contact them directly to inquire about what's in the food you're consuming. Some foods may still have trans fats in it, even if it is not explicitly labeled, especially if it is an ultra processed food. So your best bet is to limit your intake of ultra processed foods as much as you can and increase your intake of minimally processed whole foods as much as possible. Now, of course, I went ahead and looked up the foods that are high in trans fat. Coming in at number 2, I'm just going to name 2, was fried chicken. Now, fried chicken, just a 3 to 4 ounce serving of fried chicken, which is about, again, the size of the palm of your hand, contains about 2 grams of trans fat, especially if it uses a hydrogenated oil. And then coming in at number 1 is margarine. So a stick of margarine has 3 grams of trans fat. So a stick or 1 tablespoon of margarine has 3 grams of trans fat in it. Now, if you are someone who cooks with margarine very often, maybe swap this out for cooking more often with olive oil or even extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. If you are someone who enjoys eating fried chicken, swap this out for eating grilled chicken or even baked chicken more often than you eat fried chicken. So there you have it, the top 3 foods that increase your risk of getting high cholesterol. Number 3 was dietary cholesterol. Number 2 was saturated fat. And number 1 was trans fats. Now, you all know I had to hook you up. Every video I'm trying to create some sort of guide or resource that you can use and print out and download to help you implement the things I teach you, so that you're not just watching a video and going about your merry way, but you're actually implementing things to help you improve your health. So I created 2 different meal plans that span an entire week. So you'll get an entire week of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack recipes. I have one meal plan that is plant-based and vegan, and one that is not but still low cholesterol. And again, you can find links to all of that information in the description box down below. I also want to mention in May 2023, we will open the doors for our Nourish program. So if you're interested in being a part of that program, be sure to join the wait list linked down below as well. If you have any questions at all about anything I talked about in this video, anything that I mentioned, please do not hesitate to leave your comment down below. As I mentioned, I do my best to respond to every positive comment, so feel free to get the conversation going and comment down below any questions you might have. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching, and if you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe for future videos on food, nutrition, and holistic health. And if you don't remember anything else, remember to live a well-nourished life.